And happy Passover, everyone. I know the big question that we have for all of us right now is, that I really want to bring to the table is should, the church, celebrate or do anything in observance with Passover? And I want to bring this to the table only because I love Passover. I love what it represents. I love the symbolism. I love how it was orchestrated by God through Moses for Israel to observe. And if you observe it today, there's a story, a heavy story that takes place that if you do it right and you do it with a heavy heart, you know, you get to see God's wonderful story of deliverance. Now, the thing is that yeah, Passover is heavily a part of the Jewish law of that of under the covenant of Moses, but it goes beyond that if you look at it, and it all goes with that same timeline. You know, of course, it's on the second month of the 17th. Well, the 17th of the second month of the year, according to the Jewish calendar, that this is to be observed because of course what was Passover for the Jews at that time was that they were to take unleavened bread and then take lamb's blood, spread that lamb's blood over their doorpost, and God's judgment would pass over them, and whoever did not have the blood of the lamb, their judgment would come. Now, the thing is that the reason why I say it goes beyond this, that Passover paints a bigger picture than just that, because the Passover itself, including the law of the Lord, what does that point to? That points to Christ the same way as Passover does. And it also goes more, that time and date goes more than just the Passover for the Jews. If you look at the time of Noah in Genesis chapter 7, you can also read a little bit about this in Hebrews and other passages, where the second month, the 17th of the second month, that's where God's judgment came upon the world, and whoever resided within the ark under God's atonement, they were saved. And the same thing goes with Christ. On that very same day, on that Wednesday, where Christ observed that night, 6 p.m., Christ with his disciples observed the Passover. And then, of course, the next day, he was tried, he was crucified, he was buried for 3 days and 3 nights, and then he was resurrected on a Sunday morning. And that's why the main reason why we celebrate Christ's resurrection on a Sunday, because of that. But Passover provides a bigger picture of God's story that points to Christ, that points to his fulfillment, that Steve was even told even since the beginning of time, that we miss out on. And another thing is that Passover is God's rest. And the reason why I say that, I want everybody to turn with me to Hebrews chapter 4, chapter 4, verse 1. And the author says, "Therefore, since a promise remains of entering his rest, let us fear lest any of you seem to have come short of it. For indeed the gospel was preached to us as well as to them. But the word which they heard did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in those who heard it. For we who have believed do not enter that rest, as he said, I swore in my wrath that I shall not enter my rest. Although the works were finished from the foundation of the world, for he has spoken in a certain place from the seventh day in this way. And God rested on the 17th day from all his works. And again, in this place, they shall not enter my rest." Now, this thing is a warning for people who are not a part of the atoning faith of Jesus Christ, the atoning work of God ever since the creation. Because what is our faith in Christ since the very beginning is the faith of God's promise. Noah had faith in God's promise, even though it looked ridiculous. Moses and the Israels of that time in Exodus, had faith in this same God. And it's us as Christians who have faith in this same God. Even though it looks ridiculous, even though we're ridiculed and mocked, and sometimes, I don't know how, however other word you want to say it, but bottom line is this is why Passover is very important. So tonight at 6 p.m., that's when Passover starts. And I just want to encourage everyone, if you haven't tried it or haven't done any research upon it, partake in that. Study it. Understand the story. Because there is a beautiful story. And when you see that and how that parallels and points to Christ, I hope you find your faith reassuring or reassured. So happy Passover. God bless. Love you. And again, I'll see you next Friday.